Yes, Prabhu.
So, welcome to the class, Mangalacharanam. Akhila Rasamrita Murti Prasramara Ruchiruddha Taraka Pali Kalita Shyama Lalito Radha Preyan Vidurjayati. We have discussed till the 37th verse of the first wave of the first part of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So, the description is continuing of the various characteristics of Uttama Bhakti, pure Bhakti to Krishna. So we have discussed that Bhakti removes all suffering. Bhakti bestows all good qualities. Then Bhakti minimizes the value of liberation from birth and death. Then the fourth quality is Bhakti is extremely rarely attained. And so we are right now discussing the fourth quality, Sudurlabha. Okay. Sudurlabhatvam. We have discussed the shloka with Jiva Goswami's commentary. We have to discuss Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary on it. Let's read the verse once again. It is from Srimad Bhagavata, 5th Skandha, 6th chapter, 18th verse. Rajan patirgururalam bhavatam yadunam daivam priyah kulapatik pachaking karovah astveva manga bhajatam bhagavan mukundo muktim dadati karhichit smana bhakti yogam. O King Yudhishthira, Sri Narada is speaking to Yudhishthira. Bhagavan Sri Hari, Sri Krishna is the master, the instructor, the worshipable Lord, the beloved of both the Yadavas and you, the Pandavas. So, however, he is the servant of you only and not of the Yadavas. He did not act as an order carrier of the Yadava devotees, but only for you, Pandavas. He became a messenger, became your subordinate, your servant. So, Astveva Manga, dear king, let it be so. He rarely grants loving devotion for him to those who are engaged in his worship in this world. Okay? He sometimes gives them mukti, but he does not give bhakti for himself, bhava bhakti for himself. That's what we saw last class. Vishwanath Chakravarti comments. Hey Rajan, O king, Bhavatam Pandavanam Yadunancha Patih Palaka. Shri Krishna became the protector of both the Yadus and you Pandavas. He became the Guru, the instructor. He became Daiva, means the worshipable Lord. He became the Priya, Pritikrit. He became the one who pleased you, satisfied you, made you happy. And he also became the Kulapati, Niyanta, the regulator, the controller of your family. Yadushu avataratah api Krishnasya teshu bhavatsu cha tulya eva vyavaharo drishta. Although Krishna appeared, his avatar happened in the Yadu Kula among the Yadavas. He appeared as one of the Yadavas. Still, he treated you in the same way he treated his own Yadava people, among which he took birth. So, although your family lineage is not the same family lineage as that of Krishna, but still he showed the same favor to you and your family as he did to his own family. He dealt with you in the same way as he deals with his own family. So, this is your greatness. Furthermore, not only just that, kincha, vacha kadachit, at some point of time, he also became your servant while doing the tasks of carrying your messages or various other services that were needed for you and your family. न च तथा यदूनाम् इति यदुभ्योऽपि प्रेमवत्वे भवतामाधिक्यमेव इति भावः. So, he did not do so for the Yadus. For the Yadavas, he did not take up any role of subordination or servitude as he did for you and your family. So, with regards to the possessing of love for Krishna, with regards to the love that Krishna has for his devotees, you are superior to the Yadavas. Because he loves you more than he loves his own Yadava people. And you love him more than the Yadavas love him. That is the comparison Narada Muni makes. Then he says, actually here there is a typing mistake. It should be bhavadbhyah. Bhava. Instead of ja, it should be va. Bhavadbhyah hi abhajadbhyah api parama premadhikydanasya varta kiyati vaktavya sa sarvopari virajatam. What to speak of Krishna's giving the supreme treasure of love to you people who are not actually engaged in his sadhana bhakti. You people, Pandavas, are not going to his temple and praying to him every day, and you are not uttering his names in regular times every day. So, although you are not engaged in Krishna's sadhana bhakti, but still he has given you so much love and affection. What to speak of that? That is the supreme favor of Krishna, his great compassion and great blessing to you. Other people, those people other than you who are worshipping him day and night, they are engaging in his bhakti. Bhajadbhyah api na bhakti yogam bhava bhaktim api prayo na dadati. Usually, Krishna does not grant bhava bhakti, means loving devotion for him to people who are engaged in his worship in this world. Usually, he does not grant it. Okay. What does he grant them? He gives them the tatah api ati nikrishta muktim eva. He gives them only liberation from birth and death, liberation from all suffering, which is extremely lower in comparison to bhakti. So, he grants them the mukti, which is extremely lower than lower than bhakti. He gives them that. Okay. So, ityaha astveva iti. That's what he says in the second half of the shloka. Bhajatam bhajadbhyah. So, it means that sometimes he gives them mukti and does not give his bhakti. Sometimes he gives mukti and not his bhava bhakti. It means that sometimes he does give his bhava bhakti instead of mukti. So who are those people who are blessed by Krishna with bhava bhakti? Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Atra bhajatam karhichidapi iti anukte muktim anichadbhyah shuddha bhaktebhyastu bhaktimeva dadati ityartho labhyate. Because the shloka does not have karhichit api, never does he give loving devotion. He says that sometimes he does not give loving devotion for it. It means sometimes he does give. So whom does he give loving devotion, bhava bhakti for himself? He says those devotees who worship him without any desire to attain liberation from birth and death. To those Shuddha Bhaktas, to those pure devotees, the devotees who have pure motivations only to serve Krishna and not to attain liberation from this world, to them he gives his loving devotion only. He only gives Bhava Bhakti. Okay. That is the meaning we understand, we gain through this shloka, through this verse. Any questions, any doubts here?
Yes, Parasji. So the question is, what is the difference between liberation and Bhava Bhakti? What does
Okay.
Bhava Bhakti have that liberation from birth and death does not have?
Thank you for the question. So, Srinivasanji, liberation from birth and death means freedom from birth and death. You no longer suffer in this world, and you will be in a condition of merging into transcendence. This is called usually as Sayudhya Mukti, of merging within the attributeless Brahman. You identify yourself as Brahman, and you become free of your material body and your mind and karma and everything. You're purified from all material contamination, and you stay forever free from birth and death and the suffering that happens because of that. So it is compared, it is not exactly the case, but the comparison is given that a person who is suffering in his life, when he sleeps, that is the only time he does not suffer. In deep sleep, his mind does not work. Okay, his senses are not active. So he is in the state of deep sleep, and that is the state of getting a semblance of the experience of the pure self. You get some experience of the pure Jivatma. So that's when that suffering person is the happiest, when he is asleep. So such liberation of identifying with Brahman and merging within him is compared with the deep sleep experience, that it is going to deep sleep forever. There is no chance for you to wake up now. So because you are in the free, you are in the condition that is free from any influence of the body and mind, free from any connection with the body and mind, you do not experience any suffering, because suffering is because of the body and the mind. Because you don't identify with the body and mind, you are free from body and mind, you don't suffer anything, and you experience the bliss of identifying yourself with the all-pervasive Brahman. You get Brahmananda. But the problem there is that you now do not have any chance of engaging in devotion to Krishna. That is the problem there. If you are in this world suffering birth and death, there is a potential chance that you will come in association with a devotee of Krishna who are also in this world. So they will instruct you and guide you in Krishna Bhakti, and you will progress on Krishna Bhakti path, and by their blessing, by Krishna's blessing, you will attain perfection in Krishna Bhakti, get love for him, and engage in his service in Vaikuntha, in Golok. So the result of bhakti in practice, sadhana bhakti, is bhava bhakti. You get loving feelings for Krishna, and from that your love matures, you get prema bhakti, pure love for Krishna, and you are automatically, after you die in this life, after attainment of Krishna prema, you die. When you die, you will be transported to the realm of Krishna where he does his leelas, and you will forever be a part of Krishna Leela and serve Krishna in whatever capacity you had desired to do so while you were engaging in his bhakti while in your body. So this is the main difference between bhakti and mukti. Mukti is, of course, freedom from all suffering, all material suffering, but if you take that path, if you take that option, you lose the opportunity to engage in Krishna Bhakti. So, but the thing is that when you engage in Krishna Bhakti, if you take the option of Krishna Bhakti, then you are automatically liberated from birth and death. You don't have to endeavor separately to be liberated, to attain liberation from suffering and birth and death. You are liberated automatically. So, liberation is just a byproduct of bhakti, a secondary effect of Krishna Bhakti. The main effect of Krishna Bhakti is that you get loving devotion for Krishna. The side effect of Krishna Bhakti is that you are free from all suffering. You become liberated from birth and death forever. So, if you take to just liberation without Krishna Bhakti, you have the problem of never having the bliss of serving Krishna. You will forever be devoid of the bliss of serving Krishna. But if you take the option of Krishna Bhakti, then you have the bliss of serving Krishna and you have liberation from birth and death also as a byproduct. That is that's the difference.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, okay. Anyone else has a question or doubt? Next verse. Sandrananda Visheshatma. Now Rupa Goswami describes the fifth characteristic of Krishna Bhakti. Fifth characteristic. The characteristic number 5 of Krishna Bhakti, that is Sandrananda Visheshatma. It means Bhakti is constituted of a particular bliss that is compact, very dense bliss. Very, no, not just a very diluted form of happiness, but a very dense, condensed form of happiness. That is the characteristic of Krishna Bhakti. So, Rupa Goswami gives his own shloka on that. Brahmanando bhavedesha chet parartha guni kritah naiti bhakti sukham bodhe paramanu tulamapi. If the bliss of experiencing Brahman is multiplied thousands and crores of times, it cannot be compared with even an atomic particle of the bliss of the ocean of bhakti. Okay. So I'll just explain once again. Brahmananda, the bliss of Brahman, means the bliss of identifying oneself with Brahman, the bliss of liberation. Okay. This is the bliss when one attains liberation from birth and death without bhakti being the prominent factor. Then one gets Brahmananda. You become identified, you identify yourself as Brahman, and you experience the bliss of Brahman. This Brahman means the attributeless feature of Krishna. The attributeless feature of Bhagavan Shri Hari is called Nirvishesha Brahman. So, the experience of that Nirvishesha Brahman, if it is multiplied for crores upon crores of times, still it cannot be compared to even an atomic particle of happiness that one experiences in serving Krishna, in loving Krishna. Okay. So, Jiva Goswami comments, Parardha iti parardha kala samadhina samuditam tat sukham api itya. Parardha means the one half of Brahmaji's lifetime. The four-headed Brahma, he lives for an extraordinary long time. And half of his life, 50 years of his life, is called Parardha. which amounts to crores upon crores of years. So even if you attain the state of absorption in Brahmananda, in the bliss of Brahman, for that Brahma's half of his life, okay, that happiness which you experience cannot be even compared with just one drop, one particle of the happiness of devotion to Krishna. Vishwanath Chakravarti comments, परार्ध इति परार्धम कालम व्याप्य क्रियमाणेन समाधिना सिद्धम ब्रह्म सुखमपि इत्यर्थ. Similar explanation. भक्ति रूप सुख समुद्रस्य यः परमाणु तस्यापि तुलनां नैति न प्राप्नोति. Same thing. Any question someone has? Any doubt here? Okay. Next verse. Rupa Goswami gives the reference from Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya. पत् साक्षात्करणाह्लाद विशुद्धाब्धिस्थितस्य मे सुखानि गोष्पदायन्ते ब्रह्माण्यपि जगद्गुरो. A devotee is praying to Śrī Kṛṣṇa. So, O Master of the world, O Guru of the entire world, the ahlad, the bliss of having your sakshatkar, the bliss experienced by me on seeing you right in front of my eyes, that is an ocean, okay? That is Vishuddhabdhi. That is a clear ocean in which I am immersed. I am situated in this ocean of experiencing you right in front of my eyes as Bhagavan Shri Hari in your form. All other pleasures, even the pleasures of experiencing Brahman, even the pleasure of Brahman appears to be like a small amount of water that is contained in the hoofprint of a cow. So a devotee is praying to Krishna when Krishna appeared right in front of his eyes in his beautiful form with his blackish complexion and his beautiful face and features. So this devotee is praying that the bliss that I am experiencing by seeing you in front of me is the ocean in which I am immersed in. Is like an ocean in which I am immersed, and all other kinds of pleasures, even the pleasures of experiencing the bliss of Brahman multiple times for a long time, that pleasure is just like a small amount of water that is contained in the hoof print of a cow. So during the monsoon time when cows walk around, they leave their foot marks, the hoof marks, I should say. There are hoof marks on the ground. And when the rain falls, water fills up those little hoof marks of the cows. And that is the insignificant quantity of water. That is the comparison given. For the insignificant amount of bliss, insignificant experience of the bliss of Brahman. Experiencing the form of Bhagavan right in front of oneself, it gives one unlimited joy, and the bliss of experiencing the Nirvishesha Brahman is just very insignificant in comparison to that. Jiva Goswami comments, Brahmani ityatra paramirthyani iti tu na vyakheyam parabrahmanandena eva tasya taratamyam Shri Bhagavatadihu prasiddham iti tasya ravindanayanasya padaravinda ityadi. So Jiva Goswami says that in this verse the word Brahmani Sukhani is used. The happiness, the pleasures of Brahma. By this one should not consider the pleasures of becoming Brahma, the four-headed Brahma, the creator of the various lokas who is empowered by Shri Vishnu. This verse is not speaking of the pleasures enjoyed by Brahmaji in his lifetime. Okay. It is speaking of Parabrahmananda, the experience of the Supreme Brahman, the pleasure, the bliss that is experienced on identifying with the Supreme Brahman. That is because it is only with that pleasure of the Supreme Brahman that the pleasure of bhakti is compared to. The pleasure of bhakti is not compared to the happiness experienced by Brahmaji. The pleasure of experiencing Krishna, the pleasure of engaging in bhakti to Krishna is compared with the pleasure of experiencing the attributeless feature of Krishna, and it is very well-known comparison that is available in the Shastras, in like the Srimad Bhagavata and other such Shastras. So it is well known that comparison of bhakti is made to Brahmananda. So here, the Brahmani Sukhani should mean Brahmananda and not the pleasures experienced by Brahmaji. So he gave the reference from Srimad Bhagavata, which has the same idea, 3:15:47. Let us see. This is about the four Kumaras, Sanak, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara. This numbering is little different here. So it is 40 to be 37. Okay, it's not even that. Manaya Ocho. Okay, let me search then the actual number. Tasyaravindayanas. 43. Oh, I missed it. Instead of 47, it is 43. तस्यारविन्दनयनस्य पदारविन्द पिञ्जल्कमिश्रतुलसी मकरन्दवायु अन्तर्गतस्वविवरेण चकार तेषां संक्षोभमक्षरजुषामपि चित्ततन्वोः. This is the testimony that the bliss of devotion for Bhagavan Shri Hari is much greater than the bliss one experiences by identifying oneself with Brahman. So when these four little sages, the Kumaras, they had the darshan of Sri Vishnu's wonderful form right in front of them. So the beautiful face of Vishnu is like a lotus flower, and his feet are also like a lotus flower, and on the toes of his feet is the tulsi leaf, and his feet are extremely fragrant, and the fragrance of his feet is mixed with the fragrance of the tulsi leaf that is on his feet, and that nectarian ambrosial smell, fragrance, is carried by the breeze, and when that breeze entered the nostrils of these four sages, their minds became agitated, although their minds were completely absorbed in the bliss of Brahman. Okay. Still, their minds became agitated on experiencing the fragrance of Sri Vishnu's lotus feet. So, And there are many other such shlokas in the Srimad Bhagavata and other such shastras also that show that the bliss of experiencing Sri Vishnu and his bhakti is much greater in comparison to the bliss of identifying with Brahman. Vishwanath Chakravarti, Tvat Sakshaditi Tava Sakshatkarananda Samudre Svitasya Mama Brahmani Brahmaswarupanyapi Sukhani Goshpadayante Goshpadam Iva Acharanti Brahmani. Same. Anyone has a doubt or question here? Any comment? Okay, next verse. Rupa Goswami gives the reference from Bhavartha Deepika. It is the commentary of Sridhara Swami on the Srimad Bhagavata. So, from the Bhavartha Deepika commentary on the Srimad Bhagavata Shloka 10th Skandha 80th chapter 11th verse. Tvat kathamrita pathudho viharanto mahamudah kurvanti krutinah kechit chaturvargam trinopamam. Those people who take pleasure and roam around and swim around in the river of the ambrosia of your katha, of your activities and leelas. Okay? Those people who roam around, who swim around in the river, that is in the river of the ambrosia of your katha, they become extremely joyful. They experienced immense pleasure, immense bliss. And thus, kurvanti kritinah kechit chaturvargam trinopamam. They consider these chaturvargas, the four purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, they consider them like a blade of grass, insignificant. Okay. Chaturvargam trinopam. So they are not concerned with dharmika activities of the Vedas, the various things to do for, if you want to become wealthy, you do this particular practice. If you want rain in your drought-stricken area, you do this Kariri Ishti. If you want a son, you do the Putrakameshti Yaga. If you want to attain Swarga in your next life, do this Jyotishtoma or Vajpaya Yaga or something. They have no interest in that. They also have no interest in artha, in material things in this world, money and property and power and all these things. They even do not want kama, sense pleasure. They do not want to enjoy company of beautiful women and sense pleasure and other such things. They also do not want the bliss of being liberated from all suffering. Okay. Why they do not want? Because they consider all of these things as totally insignificant, not worthy of being pursued, because they are experiencing the immense bliss of the ambrosial katha, the nectarian descriptions of Krishna's leelas. So, Jiva Goswami's commentary. Satsvapi bahushu udaharishyamaneshu Shri Bhagavataadivakyeshu Bhavartha Deepiko udaharanam tu tatkartuh tattat tatparya chatvena sarva tattad vakyartha sangrahoyam iti abhipraya. So Jiva Goswami comments that although there were many other verses of the Srimad Bhagavata and other such shastras which Rupa Goswami could have quoted here to show that the bliss of engaging in devotion to Krishna is much superior to, is much greater than the bliss of identifying with attributeless Brahman, greater than the bliss of liberation. Although there are many other such verses in the Bhagavatam and so forth, Rupa Goswami, instead of quoting those verses, he is quoting a shloka from the commentary of Sridhara Swami. He is quoting a shloka from commentary, not the main text. Why does he quote Sridhara Swami's commentary on this? Because he wants to show that Sridhara Swami understood the purport of the Srimad Bhagavata very nicely. Because he has composed this shloka. Sridhara Swami's composition is this verse. And in this verse, he has directly stated that the bliss of Krishna Bhakti, Hari Bhakti, is much greater than even Mukti. The four Purusharthas are insignificant in comparison to the bliss of Krishna Katha, hearing Krishna Katha. So, it shows that Sridhara Swami understood the meaning of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, and this particular shloka is his summarization of the conclusion of the Srimad Bhagavatam, because this verse appears right at towards the end of the 10th skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam, 80th chapter. So this happens after the 87th chapter, which is the Veda Stuti, where the Vedas glorify Bhagavan Shri Hari. And Sridhara Swami now summarizes his understanding of the Srimad Bhagavatam and the prayers of the Vedas to Krishna in this very verse. Okay? That's what Rupa Goswami wanted to show. Okay. Vishwanath Chakravarti comments, Bhavartha Deepikayam Shri Swami Charaneh Kritayam Shuttadhyaya Tikayam Pathodhav Samudre Mahamadav Paramananda Yukta. This appears in the commentary of Sridhara Swami in the chapter of the Veda Stuti, Shruti Adhyaya. So that's where it comes. So these devotees are experiencing the highest bliss in Krishna Bhakti. Therefore, they consider all other attainments, all other pleasures as simply insignificant. So this shows that Bhakti is Sandrananda Visheshatma. Bhakti is filled with a particular bliss that is very dense, very immense, very thick bliss. Okay? It is not a diluted form of bliss. It is a very strong form of bliss. Okay. Any questions someone has? Any doubts? Any comments? All right. Then Rupa Goswami describes the sixth characteristic of Krishna Bhakti, which is Śrī Kṛṣṇa Karshini. Pure devotion to Krishna attracts Śrī Kṛṣṇa himself to oneself, to the devotee. Okay? Devotion towards Krishna attracts, the Krishna is attracted by that devotion that you offer to him. That's what it says. Rupa Goswami gives his own shloka describing this. Krutva harim prema bhajam priyavarga samanvitam bhaktir vashi karoti iti Śrī Kṛṣṇa karshini cha smata. Okay. Bhakti, devotion, it makes Śrī Kṛṣṇa the object of one's love. Okay. Krishna becomes the object of your love, your devotion. And who is Krishna? He is not alone. Like he is always surrounded by his beloved devotees. He is always in the company of his associates. Priyavarga. All his loving devotees are around him, and such Krishna becomes the object of one's love. So when you offer your devotion to Krishna, who is such, your devotion to Krishna controls Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Okay? It captivates Śrī Kṛṣṇa. And therefore, it is called Śrī Kṛṣṇa Karṣini Mata. It is therefore bhakti to Krishna is understood to be that which attracts Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Because bhakti captivates Krishna, it is understood to attract Krishna. Commentary, Jiva Goswami. Prema bhajam iti akarshana shabda balat priyavarga samanvitam iti Shri shabda balat vyakhyatam. So he says, prema bhajam, the object of one's love. Krishna becomes the object of one's love. And the nature of love is such that it attracts the one whom you love. So, because you love Krishna, Krishna is also by default attracted towards you. And Priyavarga Samanvitam iti Shri Shabdapara. And the word Shri Krishna Kṛṣṇa. So, Rupa Goswami has said the characteristic of bhakti is that it attracts Shri Krishna. It attracts Shri Krishna. He uses the word akarshani. Why does he use this word? Because Krishna is the object of your love. Because Krishna, because you love Krishna, therefore Krishna is attracted. And he uses the word Shri Krishna. The word Shri, it comes before Krishna. And he explains that what he implies by that in the word Priyavarga Samanvitam. Krishna is especially beautiful when he is with his devotees, his beloved associates. So, Shri Krishna Kṛṣṇa. That's what he explains in the commentary. Vishwanath Chakravarti says, does not comment on that verse. Okay. So, to support his verse on this characteristic of Krishna Bhakti, Sri Rupa Goswami refers to the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Skandha, 14th chapter, 20th verse, where Krishna speaks to Uddhava. Na sadhayati mam yogo na sankhyan dharma uddhava na swadhyayas tapastyago yatha bhaktir mamorjita. Dear Uddhava, yoga does not satisfy me. Sankhya does not satisfy me. Dharma does not satisfy me. Vedic study does not satisfy me. Austerity does not satisfy me. Detachment or renunciation does not satisfy me as much as bhakti satisfies. Mamorjit, urjita bhakti. As much as intense devotion to me satisfies me, these various other paths do not satisfy me. Or are not helpful in attaining. Intense devotion to me, by that one attains me fully. But it is not so through the path of yoga, through the path of Sankhya or Dharma or Vedic study or austerity or sannyasa, renunciation. Jiva Goswami explains, Na sadhayati ityatra yadyapi yogadi sadhana pratispardhitvena sadhanatvam asyah ayati tatascha agratah ityadi vakshyamananusareణ sadhya bhakti mahima prastave asmin udaharanam na sambhavati tathapi sadhyameva janayitva vashīkaroti asao iti tathokta. Jiva Goswami makes a relevant point here. In this verse that is quoted by Rupa Goswami, na sadhayati mam yoga. Yogadi sadhana pratispardhitvena sadhanatvam eva asya ayat. Because bhakti is spoken of in opposition to yoga, Sankhya, Vedic study, tapasya and tyaga, which do not lead to the attainment of Krishna. So, yoga and Sankhya and Swadhyaya and Tapasya, they are all sadhanas. They are all various practices that are available for some kind of attainment. Therefore, because bhakti is compared as a counter to these various practices, bhakti is also understood in the stage of practice. Sadhanatvam eva asyah ayat. This verse is speaking about sadhana bhakti. Bhakti in the stage of practice, not in the stage of perfection, not in the stage of love for Krishna. It is not speaking about prema bhakti, but sadhana bhakti. Okay. Also, later on, in two or one verse later, it is said that, according to the next verse also, which Rupa Goswami will mention, this verse cannot be quoted to illustrate the glory of sadhya bhakti, bhakti in the state of perfection which one has to attain. This verse does not glorify that stage of bhakti, that is prema bhakti. It glorifies the stage of sadhana bhakti. So, why did Rupa Goswami quote this particular shloka which is about sadhana bhakti and not prema bhakti? Because this quality that bhakti attracts even Śrī Kṛṣṇa, this quality specifically belongs to bhakti in the stage of perfection, prema bhakti. This quality of bhakti does not yet manifest in the stage of sadhana bhakti, when you are engaging in bhakti as practice, when you are still not perfected in Krishna bhakti. So why does Rupa Goswami mention this shloka to support his claim that bhakti attracts Krishna? Because still Rupa Goswami quotes this shloka here in this context, because sadhyam eva janayitva vashikaroti aso iti tathokti. Sadhana bhakti leads to sadhya bhakti. Bhakti in practice leads to bhakti in perfection. So, this sadhana bhakti, which is spoken of in the shloka of the Bhagavatam, it controls Śrī Kṛṣṇa, it attracts Śrī Kṛṣṇa by leading one to bhakti in the state of perfection, prema bhakti. Sadhana bhakti leads one to prema bhakti, and then it controls Krishna, it captivates Krishna. In that sense, Rupa Goswami has used this shloka here. So, sadhana bhakti, it also captivates Krishna by leading one to prema bhakti, and then prema bhakti captivates Krishna. So, by leading one to prema bhakti and captivating Krishna, so sadhana bhakti also captivates Krishna. So, any question, any doubt here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Ah.
Yeah, we saw in the last few verses where there is a comparison being made between bhakti at its perfection and Brahmananda.
Huh.
Okay. So, is there any, this person who writes it, this Acharya, he has experienced both? Because if there are two sweets, if there is laddu and say
There are
rasgulla,
two what?
if there are two sweets, and I have to say that this is better than the other, so I should have tasted both, right?
Yes.
So here, is there are they saying this out of experience, and or is it just due to their the bhakti,
Okay, so Rupa Goswami here is giving his own shloka that the bliss of Krishna bhakti cannot be compared, or the bliss of experiencing Brahmananda cannot be compared to one drop of Krishna bhakti. Okay, so how does he know that?
Yeah.
Has he experienced?
Right.
has he experienced the bliss of Krishna Bhakti as well as the bliss of Brahman? Because you need to know both
Yes.
to be fair. So, good question. The answer is that he refers to the experience of the previous sages. So he gives the example of the four Kumaras, the sages, who were fixed in the concept of Brahman. Okay, they had experienced Brahman, they were absorbed in the bliss of Brahman. When they came face to face with Bhagavan Shri Vishnu, they became converted to devotees of Vishnu. Okay. They progressed from their realization of Brahmananda to Bhakti Ananda. So, quoting from the testimonies of earlier great people who have experienced both, Rupa Goswami concludes that the bliss of Krishna Bhakti is greater than the bliss of Brahman experience. He himself might have not experienced both, but he is quoting from of others, the testimonies of others, which are mentioned in the Shastras.
Okay, fine. Okay.
So, then, anyone else has a question? Okay. Rupa Goswami continues, Saptame cha Naradokto. In the seventh skandha, Shri Narada speaks of this. So, 10th chapter, 48th verse. Yoyam Riloke Bata Bhuri Bhaga Lokam Punana Munayo Bhiyanti Yesham Grihana Vasati Sakshat Budham Param Brahma Manushya Lingam. He speaks this verse to Yudhishthira after describing the Leela of Bhagavan Shri Narasimha when he appeared to save his devotee and protect his devotee Prahlada. So he spoke this verse to Yudhishthira. All of you Pandavas, your family, are the most fortunate people in this entire world. Among all human beings, you are the most fortunate because all the great rishis who purify the whole world, they are coming to your house to have the darshana of Bhagavan Shri Krishna who is living in your house. Yesham graha avasati iti sakshat gudham param brahma manushyaling. The Supreme Brahman, who is the most confidential reality, who is in the form of a human being, Krishna himself, is present, is living in your homes, dear Pandavas. And to see Krishna, all these munis are coming to your homes. So you are the most fortunate of all people. Okay? Jiva Goswami comments, अत एव तत्र अपरितुष्यन् प्रियवर्गसमन्वितत्वोदाहरणं च करिष्यन् अपरमाह यूयमिति. So, in the earlier reference, Rupa Goswami referred to the description of bhakti in the stage of practice. So, not being satisfied with that, Rupa Goswami continues to give another reference from the Srimad Bhagavata to show that Krishna is attracted by the love of his devotees. Priya Varga Samanvitam, that's what Rupa Goswami had mentioned earlier. Krishna is surrounded by his devotees and he becomes captivated by the love of those devotees. So that's what he describes here, and to show that he gives the reference from the Srimad Bhagavata Shloka. Vishwanath Chakravarti comments here. Aho prahladasya bhagyam yena bhagavan rashtah vayantu mandabhagya iti vishidantam rajanam prati. After hearing the description from Sri Narada Muni of how Bhagavan Sri Narasimha appeared right in front of Prahlad, gave his darshan to Prahlad and blessed him. Okay. Yudhishthira contemplated that Prahlad was so fortunate that he saw Bhagavan face to face. However, we Pandavas are very unfortunate. Okay. And he was lamenting in that way. So Narada said that you are the most fortunate. Yuyam Nriloke Bata Bhuri Bhag. O Yudhishthira, you Pandavas are the most fortunate of all human beings. Because not just that you are fortunate than Prahlada. You are more fortunate than even the guru of Prahlada, that is myself, Narada. Okay, I am the guru of Prahlada. You are more fortunate than even myself. And even you are more fortunate than even other devotees of Krishna. Okay? Why? Why do you say so? Because Yadupura Prabhratibhyopi Vasishtha Marichi Kashyapadi Rishibhyopi Brahma Rudrabhyamapi Bhuri Saubhagyavante. Yeah, you are more fortunate not even than me. You are more fortunate.
Recording in progress.
Sorry. Okay. Please mute themselves. Okay. You are more fortunate than even other devotees such as the Yadavas. Okay, Krishna appeared in the family of Yadavas, but he showed more affection towards you. You are more fortunate than even Brahma and Shiva and other devas. Okay. So you are even more fortunate than Vasishtha, Kashyapa, Marichi and other such rishis, and even more fortunate than Brahma, Shiva and other devas. That's what Narada implies in this verse. Yuyam Ranam Jivanam Lokamadhi. Among all living beings, you are the most fortunate of all devotees, because Yushmakam Grahan Lokam Swadarshanaadina Pavitri Kurvantyopi Munaya Abhi Sarvato Bhavena Swam Kritarthi Kartum Gacchati. The great rishis and munis, by their darshana, they purify the various people. Okay? So people approach these great rishis and they travel great distances to meet these great munis, to hear from them and have their association and become purified by their instructions and their darshana by serving them. But these great rishis are coming to your house. This is reverse. Okay? This is the inverse thing that is happening. Usually people go to these great rishis to be purified by their darshana, but these great rishis are coming to your homes themselves. Okay. Sarvato bhavena swam kritarthi kartum gacchanti. They are approaching your homes to become fully successful in their own lives, in their spiritual practices. Because in your homes, Bhagavan Śrī Kṛṣṇa himself is living. Who is he? He is Gudham Sarvatopi Rahasyam. He is hidden in all ways. His intrinsic reality, his tattva, is not known by common people. So he is a very confidential reality. Yat Manushyalinga. What is that confidential nature of Krishna? That he is the Supreme Brahman in the appearance of a human being, in the shape of a human being, in the form of a human being. He is Param Brahma himself in the form of a human being. Tat samyak prakarena yushmabhi anahutam api asakti purvakam yesham griheshu sakshad vasatu. So such Bhagavan Śrī Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Brahman in the form of a human being, the most confidential truth of the Vedas, he is evidently present in your homes, samyak prakari. He is living in your homes, evidently. okay, manifestedly. Although you did not call him to come to your home, okay, he was not invited by you, but out of his love for all of you, he came to meet you in your homes. Asakti purvakam yesham griheshu sakshat vasati. He is attached to all of you, and that's why he is living with you in your own homes. Such kind of fortune was not bestowed on Prahlada or on me or on the Yadavas or on the various rishis and Brahma or Shiva. Nahi Prahladaadinam griheshu narakriti parabrahma sakshat vasati na cha taddarshanena kritarthi bhavitum munayo gacchanti tadha. In the homes of Prahlada and other such devotees of Bhagavan, Bhagavan does not live in their homes. Okay? And what to speak of Bhagavan in the supreme-most form of Krishna, in the human-like form as Krishna, he lives in your homes. Okay? And Bhagavan does not live in the houses of Prahlada and other such devotees, and nor do the great rishis come to their homes for the darshan of Krishna to be purified, to be successful in their lives. Therefore, dear Pandavas, you are the most fortunate people. So this verse demonstrates that Krishna, the Supreme Brahman, is attracted by the love of his devotees. Okay, even if he is not personally invited to come by the devotees, he nevertheless comes out of his own attachment for his devotees. This is his amazing nature. And it is his nature that he is attracted by his devotees' love. That is our hope. That is our refuge. So, although he is so great, although he is so supreme, he is attracted by the love of his devotees. No matter who one is, if you have love for Krishna, he becomes attracted to you. So that is our hope, and that is our blessing. Thank you so much for participating in today's class. Does anyone have a question or doubt here? Okay. So thank you for the
Thank you, Parashji.
fantastic participation today.
Namaste.
Welcome everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.